10 seconds. That was all it needed to utterly blow up a PR disaster and turn a big network upside down. According to an ABC anchor, the audio was dead. No, it wasn't. Within hours, one thoughtless, haughty remark about Alex Eala turned into a worldwide disaster. The suspension happened quickly, but the regret followed even more quickly. You had to wonder if this was merely an error or if it revealed a much worse reality that was hidden behind the scenes. Let's be clear about one thing before we start dissecting this. If Alexa encourages you to have bigger dreams, hit the like button and leave a comment that makes you feel proud to be Filipino. Do you think Alexa will eventually make it into the WTA Top 5? If you believe in that future now, leave a comment with the top 5 and like this video if you see the vision. Additionally, if you think Alexa is the unquestionable pride of the Philippines, let the world know by clicking like and leaving a heart in the comments. Let's now examine the actual events that transpired. It had nothing to do with a missed volley. There was no double fault involved. It had nothing to do with a devastating loss. It has to do with an enormous ego and a sexy microphone. A section about Alexa's recent rise was concluded by an experienced ABC anchor. The cameras continued to record. The lights in the studio were still glowing. The next part had producers waiting in line. The anchor leaned in, grinned, and said something that was never intended for you to hear. She's not very good. She is from the Philippines, which is the only reason for the excitement. That was it. A few brief moments, but they were deadly. Initially, it was only heard by the studio staff. After that, someone recorded it, shared it, and as soon as the audio was online, it spread like wildfire. It became unavoidable in a matter of hours. That insult kept coming up on X, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube reaction channels, and sports podcasts. Alex Eala's deadly backhand was suddenly out of style. Someone attempted to distill her entire career to her passport, which is why she was popular. Let's examine the facts and apply the brakes. Alex Eala is 20 years old. She won the Junior Grand Slam. She has faced out against seasoned veterans. Few athletes from her country have ever set foot on the courts where she has carried the Philippine flag. The hype didn't bring her there. The arduous practice sessions, the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, the losses that shaped her character, the victories that strengthened her armor, and the grind all contributed to her success. To look at that resume and claim that her place of origin is the only reason for the attention. Analysis is not that. That is outright rejection. And the contempt was immediately felt by the supporters. The hashtags took over the algorithm in a matter of hours. Be mindful of Alexa. In Manila, boycott ABC. Like a wave of digital shock, the clip went viral. Filipino supporters weren't merely standing up for a tennis player. They were protecting their honor. Because this is the truth. In the Philippines, tennis is not the most popular sport. It lacks the rich cultural heritage of boxing or basketball. Therefore, it means the world when a native talent knocks on the door of the world's top tennis players. It indicates the possibility. It denotes representation. It involves young children looking at a screen and pondering, maybe I can do that too. It struck a different chord when a voice from a prominent American network said, "It's just hype because she's Filipino." That struck deep. ABC was facing a PR disaster by the following morning. Executives rushed. A brief, frantic statement was made public. Our organization's principles are not reflected in the off-air comment. The anchor is now suspended. Awaiting further research. Suspended. As simple as that. When the blowback outpaces the damage control, this is what occurs. According to reports, sponsors were making anxious phone calls. ABC was being tagged in thousands of irate messages from viewers. The prejudice in sports coverage was being dismantled by media criticism. This, however, is the story's most potent moment. Alex remained mute as the internet screamed. No dramatic Instagram story, no rage-bait tweet, and no public relations statement. Her most recent post was a straightforward workout photo that showed her calm, focused, and locked in. No scream could be heard over the hush. She practiced while others argued. She practiced her footwork while the video went viral. Her focus appeared to be unshakable the louder the hate, But when fans noticed, that silence became into power. Let's now examine this situation's brutal irony. The host asserted that her nationality was the sole reason for the excitement. Alright, then describe the wins if that is accurate. Describe the data. Describe the increase in rankings. Describe the unrelenting protests. Match points are not awarded based on nationality. Ability does. Grit does. Discipline works. In fact, the endeavor to make her smaller sent her into the stratosphere. Alex Eala's name suddenly became familiar to millions of people who had never heard of her before. Millions of people began to watch her highlight reels. Interviews from the past came up again. One old clip features her quietly stating, "I play because I love the game." Once again, that quote went viral. It was matched with slow-motion footage of her slamming forehands on TikTok. It was uploaded by fans as a rallying cry. The attack strengthened her reputation rather than hurting it. And ABC's issue only became worse. Because once the internet investigators got to work, they discovered receipts, relics from the past, subtle jabs, and disbelieving tones. Little reactions that suddenly appeared extremely suspicious when underdogs prevailed. The difficult questions began to come up. Was this an isolated incident or a sign of a more pervasive bias? The environment in the newsroom was allegedly poisonous. Producers were told not to use social media. Public relations teams were working non-stop. Contracts were being reviewed by legal teams because the game shifts when advertisers become alarmed. The grim reality of the current world is shown here. The story is no longer within your control. The internet does. And its fighter was chosen by the internet. Support grew into a full-fledged movement throughout the Philippines. International students shared tributes. Her clips were circulated among Filipino communities abroad. Solidarity swamped timelines. Tennis was no longer the exclusive topic of discussion. Respect was at issue. Let's be honest now. Sports criticism is an element of the game. Every day, athletes are dissected. The job is to serve percentage, return speed, and movement efficiency. However, it goes too far to write off someone's success as nationalistic hype. Criticism and demeaning are two very different things. Fans reacted angrily because they were aware of the difference. Some attempted to justify the host by saying it was a private joke or out of context. Even though it was private, that defense instantly fell apart because it exposed a worldview. And the people rejected just that way of thinking. The narrative was still going strong on day 3. It was speeding up. It was taken up by other networks. It was discussed on sports talk shows. Hot mic mishaps were the subject of jokes from late-night hosts. Compared to the unadulterated anger on the internet, ABC's corporate apologies seemed insignificant and insincere. Instead of PR-scrubbed press releases, people wanted accountability. Alex continued to grind in the meanwhile. Videos from her most recent session were posted online. Sweat, drills, the crisp sound of the racket breaking through the ball. It was a straightforward message. I play, you chat. The world was won over by that serene assurance. Because the loudest clapback isn't always the strongest. It is reliable. Zoom out now. This particular kind of uncertainty frequently affects athletes from smaller countries. We call them flukes. We refer to them as surprising. At the table, they are regarded as transient visitors. However, as they continue to win, the story has to change. Alex Eala doesn't make for a sentimental headline. On the court, she is a murderer, and rivals want respect rather than attention. One thing was established by the suspension. Networks are aware of the price of anger. Reputation is like money. The king is the sponsor. The jury and judge are the viewers. Here is the more important question though. Will this compel a significant shift in the discourse surrounding athletes? Will pundits pause before drawing sloppy conclusions? Or will it simply disappear when the next scandal occurs? Because the fans shown their power, that is up to you, the audience. The weight of your voices compelled repercussions. Imagine this now. Consider Alex in the upcoming years. Eala will break into the top 5. She might be seen hoisting a Grand Slam trophy. Imagine the video of her holding the silverware being aired just next to that sexy mic clip. The most awkward quiet would be that. Such situations abound throughout the history of sports. Dominance comes after doubt. The moment the suspension email was sent, the anchor most likely felt instant sorrow. However, if Alex continues to rise, this incident will become part of her genesis story, which will create long-term remorse. The clip turns into gasoline. Each significant victory will bring it back into the spotlight. The globe will be reminded of what was stated at each milestone. And the ultimate irony is that it's possible that the attempt to belittle her is what inspires her to achieve greatness. Athletes keep the doubt in mind. They utilize it as high-octane fuel and recall who didn't believe. The journey of Alex is only the beginning. She's young. She is changing. She is picking up knowledge. Additionally, she has already left her mark on her nation's history. One thing is certain, regardless of whether she makes it out of the top 5 tomorrow or the following year. Her fame isn't a myth. Blood and sweat are used to earn it. The lesson is permanent. Although the suspension may be brief. Words are important. Tone is important. Respect is important. And it only takes 10 seconds to make a big difference in the digital world of today. I'd like to hear from you now. Should there have been harsher penalties for that degree of contempt? Or was the suspension sufficient? Do you believe Alex will use victories to respond to this situation in the best possible way? Tell me in the comments below. Because this story isn't finished, that much is clear. Not even close. Alex's career is only getting started. And this is what this week demonstrated. Undervaluing her. It's likely the worst wager you'll ever make. Let's take a moment to reflect on why this moment is so powerful. It wasn't at a stadium with brilliant lights that Alex Eala's journey began. It began with hours of tedious repetition, early mornings, exhausting sessions, missed holidays, and shadows. Tennis is a violent sport. It requires mental toughness, unwavering discipline, and complete focus. Your home is a suitcase. When you climb the mountain, you lose more than you gain. You have to cope with the crippling strain of reviewers and rankings. But she continues to appear despite everything. The people identify with that. It involves more than simply the forehand and backhand. It has to do with the effort. Every time she moves between the lines, she must honorably represent her flag. A country rejoices when she triumphs. Even if she loses, a country will support her. You can't create that type of bond. Over time, it is formed. That's why the comment from the anchor was so hurtful. Because Alex is a live example to millions of Filipinos that success on a global scale is achievable. She trains overseas. She fights the privileged. Step by painful step, she gets better at standing. That progress is observable. It's earned. Therefore, it seems like a personal assault when someone tries to write off that grind as hype. The reality is straightforward. You don't get to this point by chance. The script is still being developed, regardless of whether she breaks the top 5 anytime soon. One thoughtless remark attempted to stifle a blossoming talent. Rather, it made her more radiant than before. The support was unstoppable, but the suspension was quick. Alex Eala continues to work. The world continues to observe. Please subscribe for future updates and like this video if you support her. Tell me, do you think she will be among the top 5? Spark. A test. And if history tells us anything, it's this. Betting against a hungry 20-year-old with discipline, national pride, and something to prove is usually the worst bet you can make. The world is watching. She's still working. And the next chapter, it might be the loudest one yet.